Yo, what up, world? 502KingPaul coming to you out with another video, man. So you already know what time it is. I'm greasy and in the tank top. Just came from the gym. So the topic of this video is marijuana a gateway drug? And I kind of smile, man, just not because it's a funny subject, but because, you know, when you're young, you know, especially, you know, as an adolescent, when you're under the age of 18, man, you think you just know everything. You think there's no way that this could happen to me. I know the outcome. No way I would go down that route in life. But you'd be surprised some of the situations that you can find yourself in throughout life. And I really am putting out this video because I want people to be aware and to kind of, you know, bring light to this situation. So is marijuana a gateway drug? You know, if you've watched any of my past videos, I've already said that I started smoking at a very young age. I wasn't a heavy smoker at a young age, but I started smoking very early on in my life. And there was a point in time, man, where if you told me that marijuana was a gateway drug, I would laugh at you and be like, man, it's not a gateway drug. The only gateway that smoking marijuana is a gateway to smoking more marijuana. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. I'm going to give you a few stories from my life. And I hope that this video just sheds light on this topic and that it's also inspirational to the people who are watching this video. So there was a young man that commented on my channel the other day, and he said that he had to stop smoking in order to play football. I know that nowadays, man, they didn't have this when I was playing high school sports, but now they are drug testing these kids. When you want to go and play football, you want to play basketball, whatever sport you want to play, they're actually drug testing some of these students before they're even eligible to play. So that's like a complete game changer. I'm actually for it, man, because I think it will pull people off of the path, pull the youth off the path of just taking these quote unquote recreational drugs. But I say that to say that there was a year in my high school years, man, where I was not eligible to play football. My grades were bad. The year before, I did a lot of ditching school. Just grades were horrible, of course, because I wasn't there. I had an older girlfriend, and I would go off with her, and, you know, we'll spend the day together. She was still in high school, but she had the co-op program where she would go and supposed to be working for the day, but somehow she worked out something to where she was going home. And when she went home, I would go home. I know it sounds crazy, stupid, but that's what I was doing, man, at a young age. And it was that year that I couldn't play football where I really just fell head first into the street life, man. That's when I really just went all into the street life. I didn't have anything to preoccupy my time with. You know, they say that an idle mind is the devil's playground, and that is so true, because when you just have all this idle time and you're just sitting around, you start to get yourself into things that you have no business getting yourself into. During that time, that's when I started smoking weed more. And then I started to experiment. That was around the time when Lil Wayne and, you know, you had all the rappers from Houston that were promoting promethazine, promoting lean, cough syrup, for those of y'all that are not familiar with it, you know, promoting this as a cool drug to take. So we started, you know, I would start drinking a little bit of syrup I would get from my friends, and, you know, we would drink a little bit of syrup. There was actually one friend, man, he gave me a pill. Y'all can look this up. It's a pill called a Seroquel. And I had no idea what the Seroquel was actually for, but he would tell me later that this was actually an antipsychotic medication, very small, tiny little pill. And I took 2 of those, my first time and last time ever taking it. I took 2 of those pills and almost lost my life that same night because I was driving and I literally was just smacking myself on the expressway trying to stay awake because I just kept falling asleep. I'm on the expressway and I'm speeding. I'm going like 90, close to 100 miles an hour, trying to hurry up and get home because I was about to fall asleep at the wheel. And, you know, that was a very scary experience in my life, but, you know, just one of those drugs that I started to dabble in after I started heavily smoking weed. And even then, you know, looking back on it, I wasn't like heavy smoking weed, not compared to when I went to college, but I did start to ramp up my use. And with that use, I started to mess with the lean. I started to, like I said, I tried the Seroquel. There were different drugs I knew that my other friends were taking, like Xanax, Lortabs, just things that they were getting from their parents, prescription cabinet, just different things that they were getting from other friends who had got it from their parents. But just for the older people watching this video, man, always remember, if you have prescription drugs in the house, lock up your prescription drugs, man. Keep them put up the same way that you would a firearm, because these young kids, man, once you go down that path, you start to experiment, and you're just trying to get high for anything that you possibly can. There was a point in time, man, where I was drinking regular cough syrup trying to get high because I had this addiction to lean, which that leads me on to college. You know, once I got to college, I really ramped up my smoking. I mean, really ramped it up. We were smoking all day, every day. And it was around this time, like I said, that, you know, the lean was very popular. I had a girl I was messing with at the time. And actually, I'm be honest, man, I actually took her lean. She didn't even know that I had it. I'm sure after a while she knew that I had it, but I took her lean. So I had that bottle. My other friend had a girl he was dealing with. She got prescribed it. He had a bottle of it. Another friend, he had a bottle of it. I'm not sure how he got his, but we all had big bottles of this promethazine mixed with codeine, cough syrup. And we would put it on the inside of our blunts, put it on the outside of our blunts. We would drink it. We would put it on, be smoking black and milds, put it on the black and mild, smoke that. Call it a wet black, you know, just anything. We was putting it on everything. And I really built up a huge addiction to this cough syrup during this time. And, you know, I'm just admitting this because I want to be completely transparent and honest. Like I said, this just started from heavy marijuana use, and then it led into us using lean, which also some of my friends started to dabble in the Xanax, taking Xanax pills. And I'm not really sure what that's used for. Maybe an antidepressant or something. I'm not sure. Y'all can look it up on your own time, but started taking the Xanax bars. That wasn't something that I tried until later on, but you know, it was a lot. It was a lot of things that I did not see myself doing until I started smoking. And as the years went on, it just got worse. I eventually would try a Xanax bar. I ended up blacking out completely in a club one night. Excuse me. Blacked out completely in a club one night. Woke up on the other side of town. Had no idea how I got there. Couldn't remember me driving. Scariest thing in my life. I literally remember sitting down in the club and the next day waking up on the other side of town, completely clothed, sweating in the car, and had no idea how I got there. It was later on in my life that I would experiment with ecstasy pills. Now, that by far was the worst drug that I've ever taken, but I did take it several times. I'm going to be completely honest. I did take it several times, and each time it had a totally different effect on me, which I would learn, you know, later on after I stopped using it, was that each drug was different. Each ecstasy pill was different from the last. So you're thinking that you're taking the same one that you took the first time, where this one may have a totally different drug in it. It may be cut with rat poison. It may have fentanyl in it. There are a lot of drugs that they put inside of these ecstasy pills. It's not really MDMA like it used to be back in the day. These drugs can have cocaine, it can have heroin in them, they can have a number of different drugs inside of these ecstasy pills. And once I found that out, man, I was just so shocked, because I'm like, I had no idea what I could have been possibly putting into my body. But I say all this to say that, you know, I didn't start dabbling inside of these things until I started smoking weed. I started smoking weed, and it just opens you up to these other drugs. It truly is a gateway to start trying all kinds of things. And not only just drugs. I do believe that marijuana is also a gateway to spiritual things. Man, I'm a spiritual person. I've been that way even before I was a religious person, or before I really got into the Bible or really worked on my relationship with God. I always believed in a spiritual world, and I at least knew that I had a spirit within me. So when I started to smoke, I started to have these different episodes, man. Like sometimes I would get very, very just in the spirit, is what a lot of people would call it. I would start, praising God. I would, shed tears sometimes, if I'm just watching a sermon on TV, and, it will open me up to this, or I would start praying real heavy, talking to God during these times. But then there were other times where I would see certain things. I put this in one of my previous videos. I would see certain things in the world around me. I would see like shadows go past me, certain things that I would feel like a presence around me. And not everyone has this experience, but I do know a lot of people that use marijuana and they claim, well, it gets them closer to God. Well, I think that it does have a possibility of getting you closer to God, but it also has the possibility of opening you up to a spiritual world around you that you're really not ready to see. That you really don't realize all of this stuff is going on around you until you smoke. And then when your mind's opened up to this realm, you start to see certain things around you. So I do believe that marijuana is a gateway drug to other drugs, and that it's also a gateway into the spiritual world. Now, with that being said, I do also believe that marijuana is a gateway into certain activities. There are a lot of times, man, just to be completely honest, I wouldn't get sexually aroused until I smoked. Like, I wouldn't start having this lust within me until I smoked. I would be completely fine. But then when I smoked, then all of a sudden I'm hitting up this girl. Hey, I'm about to come through. I just have sex on my mind. It's like it was opening me up to those thoughts. Certain activities, things I normally wouldn't do, man. I started to do when I started smoking weed. So like I said at the beginning of this video, when you're younger, you really just think that, I'm just going to smoke weed. It's just going to be weed. And some people, man, you might just smoke weed. But most people that I know that smoke weed, they've tried some other drug. I don't care if it was any of the drugs I just named. It was some other drug that they've tried, especially lean, because that's like another popular kind of drug. It's pressed very hard in hip-hop culture, that this is some kind of cool drug to take. But that is a very dangerous road to go down. I was blessed enough not to get sucked into it and to really, really have a strong addiction to any of the drugs I just now named. But I tried them. And I just want to put out this video to encourage anybody who's thinking about starting smoking weed, man. Don't. I mean, it's for nothing else, man. Save yourself some money. Save yourself some time. Save yourself some cologne or perfume or whatever. It's just not worth it, man. If you've made it to whatever point in life and you're not smoking, don't smoke. But just don't, if you are smoking, don't be so naive to think that you will not eventually try some other things, because most people who get addicted to weed, they have an addictive personality, and it'll be very easy for you to hop onto something else and get addicted to that as well. So, man, the best way to be is just sober, be of sober mind. Like I said, an idle mind is the devil's playground, so make sure that you are keeping yourself preoccupied, staying hungry for success in life, staying hungry for peace, and just really chasing after the best life for you, man. If y'all like anything about this video, anything at all, take a moment, go down below, like the video. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Hit that notification bell, so that way, as soon as I drop my videos, you get them, man. 502 King Paul. I love y'all. Stay blessed. I'm out.